PJNET Live, Monday night, February 10th, 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. Checking the checklist. We are recording. We are streaming on all available platforms. Bumpers rolling. Andy Clapp standing by in the green room. We'll switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, good evening and welcome to PJNET Live. It's a brand new week and we have a brand new slate of guests. By the way, we're practically booked up. I think we've got guests booked through next week. Things are really growing. Good to see everybody here tonight. I hope you've had an enjoyable weekend. If you are watching this live on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, we welcome you and invite you to come join the friends in our chat room. Use a desktop or a laptop and go to patriotjournalist.com while you can still do that, because soon you'll have to go to pjnet.tv. More on that later. Folks, it's been a week since we've had Andy Clapp, and we have him back. He's in our green room. He's here with us now. And Andy, it's been about a month. You and I are both kind of busy, and we don't get to socialize too much. And in fact, I made about a 4-hour detour on it was your anniversary, and you made time to see me, and there were some other tragedies actually going on with your former college roommate. But anyway, you made time to see me. But you stay pretty busy. I mean, you're an author, you're a husband, you're a father, and you're a pastor. Do you have any time management issues, or are you okay with everything?
I think I'm all right with everything. Just don't ask my wife.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have time management issues either. That's not a lie. What I'm doing is prophesying. You know, I'm telling the truth in advance. I'm working on it.
I've learned that as I get older, I'm doing better with time management, making more of every minute I've got. And I'll tell you, honestly, in the last month or so, I have figured out how to do it a little bit better. But there's a lot of irons in the fire. But you know what? God has been good to me, and I'm going to give him everything I got until the last breath is drawn.
Well, who was it? Jack London, who wrote Call of the Wild, said, "I would rather burn out than rust out." You know, at least if you burn out, you were once a glowing ember of light. But rust was no.
Exactly.
You know, so no barnacles on Andy's hull.
No, none. No time for it.
There you go. I guess we're now at about a month away, a little less than a month away from the North Carolina Christian Writer Conference. What all goes on from the point of view of the congregation and yourself? Anything special happens between now and then, or you just open the doors when they show up?
A lot of prayer, a whole lot of prayer. There is an immense amount of preparation that goes into it before anybody arrives. We spend, again, a lot of time praying over it, and we have to
mow the grass.
Reorganize. Yeah,
it's winter now. You don't have to mow the grass.
Yeah, we don't have to do that right now because which we ain't really had winter here this year. It's been kind of mild, but we did have snow last week, and it's like 60 this week. So who knows? But we have to, we tear down a lot of stuff and set it back up so it's ready for the conference, and just aligning the different things that go on behind the scenes. But to be honest with you, we're excited. So we count it a joy to be able to do it, and the wheels are already burning over here, and we're about 3 weeks out. So,
well, I it's a Baptist church, so food is always in abundance. But there has to be some logistics involved in that. You got to know how many people are coming, and then you've got to make arrangements. And it's what a bunch of. Is there a meal on Thursday, but all day Friday, and most of the day Saturday? That's a lot of food.
It is a lot of food, but we're Southern Baptists, so we're already prepared to eat.
Let's just serve MREs.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Love this. I took I took my daughters to a church while I was on sabbatical. That was not our church. The church up in the mountains of North Carolina. And the night before, we were staying at Ridgecrest, and my youngest daughter got up and she said, "Hey, Daddy, what kind of food they gonna have there tomorrow?" And I was like, "Man, we have raised her right."
Yeah. Well, if it's a Baptist church, you just really don't have to worry about it too much, you know.
Oh,
No, I think it'd be fun to just serve MREs for one meal just to see what would happen, you know. Just
I have a feel. I have a feeling I'd get in a wee bit of trouble for this.
say we had some leftover. We had some disaster relief training. We had some leftover MREs.
Yeah.
That was 5 years ago. You're not old enough to remember, but an MRE used to have a little packet of chiclets and one cigarette and a little strike box of matches.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. Standard issue. It was.
Ain't that something?
And of course, for the people that didn't smoke, they could make a mint on that one cigarette. It was good. You are one of the few churches, and I don't really know how you do it because I don't know how you get internet out there. But very few churches are live streaming, but more and more are starting to kind of dip their toe in the water. Kind of. Is that what's your thoughts? Y'all been doing it for a while.
We've been doing it for at least 2 years now. And the thought on it was Jesus said, go, not sit back and wait for them to come to you. And there's multiple reasons why we do it. One is the Great Commission, in the hopes that somebody shares it and somebody sees it and transforms somebody's life that was never going to be in our church that Sunday. Secondly, it's another way to keep people tied into the church when they can't be there, such as people whose health is not doing well, or people who've had surgeries and they can't be there, and sickness. But for us, it was really just trying to engage a lost culture with the truth of Jesus Christ. I believe that the church has the greatest message in the world. That there is hope, that there is salvation, that there is grace, that there is mercy, and that you're not too far from the reach of God's hand. But unfortunately, a lot of times we're letting our message stop at the front door. Mm-hmm. And by live streaming and doing those kind of things, we're really opening the door and opening the floodgates for people to watch in other places. A friend of mine was telling me a while back that he walked into his mother-in-law's house, and his mother-in-law was commenting on a message that they had been watching on Facebook. Well, come to find out, it was my message that, they were watching our church service, and this was in Michigan. This wasn't even, here in North Carolina. So I believe that God has the ability to use these things to get us further than we ever dreamed possible. And not any of it, Coach, is for our glory. It's for His glory. I just want to reach people. I want everybody to know that there is a hope, and that hope is Jesus Christ. And I don't want anything to stop us from reaching that person who might happen to turn on Facebook and see some kind of video clip.
Well, what amazes me is, first of all, I wanted to make a comment on your initial answer was the Great Commission, which says go.
Yes.
It doesn't say come, invite to. It says go. Yep. And so this, to me, is a no-brainer for churches. Okay, go. But the very first video that I did, and I think I've shared this with you and many of you that are watching, but there may be someone that watches this that has not heard this, because I think it's foundational to the point that you're making. I got a green screen, which we use here in our studio. Behind me is a green screen. I'm sitting on a piece of plywood box, but I put a video of a lion pawing the dirt and roaring and all this stuff. And in that video, I say, what a fearsome animal. Look at those teeth. Listen to that roar. Mm-hmm. And the lion's literally pawing dirt, making a big cloud of dust. I said, if that lion were not in the cage, I would be genuinely afraid. But so long as that lion is in the cage, there's nothing to fear.
Right.
I said, now, isn't it possible that across this land we have erected literally thousands of cages? On Sunday morning, we let ourselves in that cage and close the door behind us. And by the way, that lion is well kept and well cared for inside of that cage. It gets all the food, water, medical attention that it needs. But that lion was not built, that lion was not intended to be in a cage. It was intended to be roaming the wild. And I think, what goes on inside the walls of church, I have no criticism of. We need that. We need that nurturing. We need that care. But we were not put here to be in that cage. We need to project outward. And that is so much foundational to the mission here at PJNET. We want to project outward. You're one of the few pastors that are part of the PJNET team, because our primary focus is to get the people the pastors are talking to, and get them to share. But you say the Great Commission, and I think that is very foundational. The other thing is, to me, it's a no-brainer. I know churches have struggled to raise money to be on a little daytime AM station, in the local community to raise the funds, but you can stream it's actually free. All you really need is a couple of cameras and an internet connection. It seems to me, why would a church not do it?
Yeah, and the thing is that understanding Satan is flooding the world with his message. I mean, he is. His message is everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's on television. It's on radio. It's
Watch the NFL.
Everywhere you turn. And is the church going to flood the world with the message of Jesus Christ? And that is where we're at now. We're working on Instagram, on IGTV, trying to, we got a channel there. We've got stuff on YouTube. We got stuff on Facebook Live. There is so much opportunity that now it is in our grasp and within our reach for us to take the gospel and just flood the world with the message of Jesus Christ, and to flood the world with a gospel of hope, that there is hope. And this year, Coach, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this year is a pivotal year. And the reason I say that is because so many people now believe that government is the hope. Government is not our hope. It's not our hope. Our hope is Christ. Our hope is beyond any 4-year term. And while people are looking, because there's a desperation in America right now and beyond, but especially in America because of the division. And while people are looking for some sense of hope, some sense of joy, some sense of assurance, this is our chance to flood the entire world with the message of Christ. And there's no greater message that could be out there.
Well, Andy, we have said for a long time, PJNET has been very active politically, but a lot of churches push back against that, saying churches really shouldn't get involved in politics. But I won't go into that one. Here's what I will say. I do not believe that the problems that we have in this country are political, nor are they educational, nor are they judicial, nor are they racial, nor are they economic, or any other. They are spiritual. Here's my example. If we woke up tomorrow morning and it was announced that Roe v. Wade had been overturned, is the problem solved?
No.
We now have 50 battles.
No, and the thing is that the problem really for us in America right now is the expanse of darkness is all around us. And as we're looking at that, instead of being on the defense, the church needs to go on offense. And honestly, I think that God's raising up a bunch of people to do that. And you are completely correct when you say that the problem is a spiritual problem.
So we need a spiritual
I believe
solution.
that it was and I believe it was Ronald Reagan that said, if we ever stop being one nation under God, then we're one nation gone under. Something to that effect. And I agree with that.
Well, let me take it to
I believe.
hyperbolic heights. Let's say that we woke up tomorrow morning and they had
Mhm.
enacted a federal law making abortion mandatory. That still would have no effect if you solve the spiritual problem. See, I think the spiritual problem is this: God has some things to say about our sexual conduct. We'd rather not do that. We'd rather do it our way. I think that's the spiritual problem.
And the spiritual problem is found in this. We told God to get lost a long time ago out of every avenue. I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
We told him to get out of schools, to get out of courts, to get out of all these different places. And then we looked up and we go, what is this heaping pile of garbage we got going on right now? And hey, the thing is that it's one thing to say, God, get out, but it's another thing to sit there and wonder, okay, God, where were you? Well, we can't have it both ways. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that as the church begins to be that foundation in America again, and as the gospel of Christ becomes that foundation in America again, then things begin to change because the pursuit of godliness and holiness and righteousness is put in the forefront. Whereas right now, uh, I'm telling you what, it is dangerous. It is very dangerous what is going on and the messages that are being pushed in our culture right now. Um, it it scares me because I have young children, and understand something. My faith is completely in Jesus Christ. I don't. I am absolutely um, secure in His message and in His word. But I also look at the world and go, what will my daughters experience in 15, 20 years if the church doesn't go on offense? And I just believe that God is raising up a church to really push back in America, not just in politics, but in education, in all these different realms, in entertainment. This is one of the reasons I like PJNET so much. And this is why I am a huge supporter in what you're doing, because here's what's happening. This is becoming an avenue for Christians to flood the nation with something much deeper, with something that is a great alternative to what's being pushed through the mainstream media and through
Well,
mainstream entertainment, mainstream channels.
thank you, Andy. But you know what encourages me is, people when they share here on PJNet, they're not sharing things like, God doesn't want you to have fun. We've, blah blah blah. They're sharing how rich a life they are living, walking with Christ. And I don't think that's the vision the world gets of us, because there was a period of time when, from the pulpit, it was mostly what I would call sin management. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't chew, don't cuss, don't. In fact, if it's fun, it's probably a sin, and God really does want to just
Right.
zap you. I mean, I think people got kind of afraid of God rather than afraid of hell. That was said. I forget who said that here on PJNet, but that impacted me. It was. Anyway, he said he went to church as a young man, and he wasn't scared of hell. He was scared of God.
Yeah. And that's true. And that's where our message and stuff has to change, because honestly, you're never going to find the life that you have in Christ anywhere else. Nothing in this world can offer what Christ offers. In fact, he even said it in the Gospel of John. He said, "I can't. I have come that they may have life and have it more abundant."
Abundantly.
And that abundant life is overflowing with joy, overflowing with hope, overflowing with all of this that is real living and real life, and it's more real than reality television, because that mess is just a hot mess.
I love it because I'm always thinking I got to make highlights videos, so I'm always keyed in. The Christian life is more real than reality TV. Okay, we'll
It
go with that.
is. It
Um,
is.
Andy, we've been going at it 20 minutes. I don't even know where we started or where we ended, but I know it's 20 after. I know that. Andy, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your support. PJNet. It's great to be part of the team. I'll be seeing you March the actually. They set up Wednesday, and they actually no they.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll be there bright and early. So you and I will probably be once again the first ones there.
As always.
As always. Andy, appreciate you sharing. We'll see you next time. Can't wait to see you up in North Carolina.
Thanks, Coach.
All righty, bye now. Well, gosh, where did the time go? I don't know. He's fun, and we don't have many pastors here, and I think that's by design. We don't want to be preachy here, but Andy is a different kind of pastor, and we are really, really blessed to have him on the PJNet team. Thanks to all of you who are in our chat room right now. We appreciate you participating and joining us at patriotjournalist.com. Quick update while we're waiting on Casper, who will be here in just a few minutes. The PJNet banner came in today. It looks absolutely stunning. For those of you who are at the North Carolina Conference, you will get to see it there. Just so many things happening. Thank you to all of you who are doing your part on the team here at PJNet Live. I'll leave you with two questions. First is, what is the boldest thing you've ever done for Christ? The second question is, when was that? My challenge to you and to myself is to never be satisfied with either answer.